Welcome again to the Audio 300. dfisher here. Had a chance to speak with Seth Price, Senior Network Engineer at the Durham County Government. What we covered today was his role on the networking side there, managing 50 sites from a networking perspective in an environment for the government where he is responsible for day-to-day operations, lifecycle management, etc. Got some good feedback from him and really just learned more about his role and what he sees on a day-to-day basis. Hopefully you guys find some value in it. Stay tuned. Hey, I'm here with Seth Price with Durham County. He's a senior network engineer. I'm going to let him have the floor for a few seconds, introduce himself.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Davis. My name is Seth Price. I'm the senior network engineer with Durham County Government in Durham, North Carolina. And in my position, I oversee the design and day-to-day operations of the network, including the LAN, WAN, and the data center at Durham County, along with the security operations for Durham County as well.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you taking the time, Seth. With your experience on the networking side of things and kind of everything I'm seeing you put out on social media, I'm very glad we were able to connect. I'm interested from your perspective, continuing every time I do these podcasts, just trying to get some more feedback from folks that are actually in these positions day to day. Maybe what's the biggest challenge that you're seeing, with something that you're working on right now, a project, or maybe just day-to-day management of the network at your organization? Because I think from organization to organization, I think everything looks different depending on how things are set up. So with you at Durham County, what's maybe the biggest challenge in overseeing the network on a day-to-day basis, and/or from a project that you're overseeing right now?
Sure, those are great questions. I think one thing that we all have in common is keeping the day-to-day operations going for the organization that we work for. Durham County, we're a local government. Our main focus is on our citizens and making sure that they have access to the services that they need, to live their lives and, continue to get the support that they need from Durham. So that's something that I take very seriously, not only in providing the network capabilities to provide those services, but also securing the data of our residents. Those are two things that are very important to me. So, day-to-day operations is very important. We're a pretty small staff here at Durham County on the network side, so we need to be able to perform these functions, have these capabilities, but also do them in an efficient manner. So, as you can imagine, we have, roughly 50 sites, each offering different levels of services. So you can understand right there that there's some challenges for us. So the technology that we choose to go with in our case are things that will help us to be as efficient as possible and be as stable and secure as possible.
Got it.
So some things that I've been working on that I think are most relevant right now. We've been going through a big change here at Durham County. I think I started here about 2.5 years ago, and it was at a good time where there was life cycle replacement up for the data center, and now we've been doing life cycle across most of the facilities within our organization as well. So the first thing to do was to create a vision, both on the network and the security side. Where are we now, and where do we want to be? Where do we want to be 5 years from now? Where do we want to be 10 years from now? Yet we need to keep the same level of functionality with all these life cycles that we do. So I'm sure you can understand that there's some challenges in that, but there's also, for me, the importance of creating that vision, because as long as there is a clear recipe for a vision that makes sense, then the decisions that I make and that we make as a team, as long as they're in line with that vision, then we can continue moving forward towards it.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I think one thing that I'm hearing a lot is, in my conversations, from a multi-site perspective, right? Whether you're, a top decision maker at the C-suite level, or you're, managing the environment day to day, the issue of as these companies continue to grow and the footprint of the IT environment continues to grow, as that grows and your staff stays the same or possibly gets smaller, What kind of challenges does that present to you, you know, in your role as an engineer?
Yeah, absolutely. When you talk about having to life cycle, 50 buildings, some of them large, some of them not so large, with only a handful of people, that creates some challenges. I mean, it sounds easy. Oh, I'm just going to go in and replace some switches, right? Well, when you start building a project plan for even, say, a medium-sized facility, you start understanding that it's not as simple as, okay, I'm going to rip out these switches and I'm going to put in these new ones, or I'm going to rip out these routers and I'm going to put in these new ones. There's so many finite details within a process like that. Each providing its own challenge, plus you take in the fact that there are people that have to be able to work there come Monday morning and provide the services to the residents here at Durham County. All these other people that are looking at this and that may have, their hand in the cookie jar on it. There's a lot of coordination and a lot of effort that has to take place to be successful in that.
Yeah.
So, I'm a big believer in a philosophy that I try to live by in any work that I do, and that's 90% planning, 10% work. And as long as I stick to that model, usually I have more success than not.
Got it. That all makes sense. Well, Seth, we appreciate your time. I think that'll do it for today.
All right. Thanks, Davis. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Seth. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Yeah, bye.